GA National. Get your tickets today at thecognizantclassic.com.
If you told me you thought the Chicago Bears were going to win that game down as many points as they were, I straight up don't believe you.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell it.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
25 points. A 25-point quarter for the Chicago Bears to... I gotta be careful here. I mean, is this their biggest win since the turn of the century? Like, I understand they went to a Super Bowl. Probably not. But this is their biggest win since going to a Super Bowl. I don't care what you tell me. And if you thought they were coming back in that fourth quarter, I don't believe you. No chance. No chance you thought they were coming back 21-6 against the Green Bay Packers, a team who is consistently in the playoffs. Now, I can't say consistently winning playoff games, because Matt LaFleur and the Packers haven't necessarily done that in a long time. But welcome on in, folks, to Theoretically Speaking. Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo. We are live at the City Place Studios here in downtown West Palm Beach. What a wild card weekend it was. We will be breaking down all of the games. I'm going to let you guys know what I was most surprised about. I'm going to let you know what I was the least surprised about. It has to do with a certain coach who is part of one of the worst cheating scandals we've ever seen in the history of any sport. I'll let you ponder about that one for a little bit. But we're live on the ESPN South Florida app. Download it today. You can find us on YouTube at ESPN South Florida, Twitter, X, Facebook, all of that good stuff. Christian Catt is behind the glass, as always, as our co-host and producer on Theoretically Speaking. Now, him and Colin are fresh off of a trip up in Jacksonville. They saw one of the best games that was basically held in Wild Card Weekend. I say that, but every game was great, really, other than that godforsaken New England Patriot and Charger game. But, Christian, how are you, partner? I understand that you and Colin drove back to Palm Beach early this morning.
Yeah. Is it in bad taste to when two people get in the car for a before dawn road trip to knock out and fall asleep and leave them to fend for themselves?
I don't think so. As long as there was an understanding that he was driving. And and obviously Christian's talking about my co-host Colin Russo and Rizzo, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. You'll be hearing that coming up today on 106.3. But I don't think I'm fine with it.
So we had essentially the same exact departure time to Jacksonville for that game on game day on Sunday. I was driving there. We had the idea of just like one drives there, one drives back. Yep. He stayed awake the entire time. We were in lengthy conversations that we tried to like avoid the sports since we were also doing a radio show 6 hours later.
Yep.
So we stayed awake the entire time, and I felt like he did me the service that I did not reciprocate at all this morning because I put on the Stranger Things documentary, and I fell asleep, just like chin touching my chest, and knocked out for the entire drive.
I love a road trip. I love a good road trip. I love conversation on a road trip. But, Christian, I'm also the kind of person that could listen to music for about 10 hours straight.
Okay.
And really get lost in thought. And I really do enjoy long car drives. So my personal opinion, absolutely not. If you fall asleep and there was the understanding that I was driving anyway, I could put on my own music, put in my AirPods, put on my highway playlist and be happy as a clam.
Okay.
So no worries there. But we'll get into that Jag game in a little bit because I did want to start. I mean, how can't you start today with that Chicago Bear game? I looked it up. The last time the Bears won a home playoff game, Christian, 2011. It was against the Seattle Seahawks in the divisional round where they won 35-24. Lovie Smith was still the coach back in 2011. And fast forward 15 years later, if you told a Bear fan in 2011 that they would have to wait 15 years to see another home playoff win, they probably would have called you crazy. I mean, geez, imagine being 15 years old in the stands, which basically would have been me because I'm 31. All right, I was 16. If you would have told a person my age back in 2011, you're going to be 30 with probably a wife and kids the next time you see a playoff win, I probably would have tried to fist fight you. If I were a Bear fan and someone told me that, I probably would have tried to fist fight you. But at the same time, that's the reality of the situation. And to be down as many points as they were, 21-6, the 25-point quarter, I mean, that's one of the better football games you will ever see as a football fan. You know, in our Russo and Rizzo group chat, Christian, myself, and Colin, we were all texting back and forth about the game. I mean, Christian, and obviously we've had some good football over the last couple of weeks, but I think that's been the best game of the season so far.
And it comes 3 weeks after the Chicago Bears defied the very similar odds against the same bane of their existence in the same building. Like the Week 16 game against the Packers where they needed the onside kick recovery, which they got, needed to score again, which they got, scored in overtime, which they got. They had a 98.8 win percentage for the Packers with 4 minutes to go in that game. That was 3 weeks ago. And then in Saturday night's game on Amazon Prime, with a half-asleep Al Michaels on the call, with 6.5 minutes to go in the game, they had a 95% chance of their season being done, finished in their home building. See, the more things change, the more they stay the same. That's the Packers owning the Bears when it matters most. But no. My girlfriend's a Bears fan. We were going ballistic. Could not believe our eyes, despite the fact the 2025 Bears win those games. They've won those games a bunch of times. It's ridiculous. It was insane.
And this time, you know, Christian, I know a lot of Bear fans as well. All of them were hitting me up. Oh God, if we got to hear one more time that Jordan Love got injured in the game, we beat them. We're going to lose our minds. And they did it with. I understand the Packers had pieces missing, but it was with Jordan Love, and the excuses were thrown out the window. With the lead that they had, and there were no excuses for the Green Bay Packers and Matt LaFleur to lose that game, being up as many points as they were. We'll also get into the report later on of Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers apparently trying to work out a deal, a long-term deal. Obviously, it's a report. We'll break down if we actually believe it or not, but the reports are out there that LaFleur and the Packers are trying to work together to figure out a deal. We're thinking about $20 million. But, Christian, was this more about, in your eyes, was this more about the Bears coming back and winning or the Packers blowing it, having that lead in the fourth quarter?
You know, I got to say, if Jordan Love played worse, I would give you the blowing it narrative, and that would be a takeaway. But Jordan Love made a lot of great throws. There were one or two drops, one or two instances by the Packers where they didn't go out of bounds that were kind of tough to envision yourself in the heat of the moment, actually thinking with the clock in that moment, where the Packers skill players made the play and didn't automatically go down. So I'm going to say it was more about the Bears coming back.
I think I'm with you because 3 straight drives they had a touchdown. 3 straight drives in that fourth quarter. So you got a field goal the first drive. They forced the Packers to punt, and then this is the drive chart for the Bears after that. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. And the missed field goal, did anybody think? No, I started the show saying, you're out of your mind, and I don't believe you if you thought the Bears were coming back in that fourth quarter. You want to know where I would believe you? If you said I thought the Bears were going to win that game in the fourth quarter, was after the missed field goal. I don't think anybody thought the Bears were losing that game after the Packers missed that field goal, going 8 plays, 43 yards. That was the first time I said, all right, the Bears are going to win the football game, was at that moment when the Packers missed that field goal. And that was with 4 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the game. Everybody knew Caleb Williams was going to march right down the field and score, right? I think this is a franchise-changing win, a franchise it changes everything. You lose this game, it's all right. First year of Ben Johnson, go to the playoffs. It stinks losing at home, and obviously it's even worse losing to a rival. But there's a lot to build off of a first-year head coach, play caller, the whole night. Now it's like, wow, can we go to a Super Bowl? Do we believe in ourselves? And we have home field again. Coming up for the next game, which I believe I'm correct on. I have to double check, but I think they do have the home field against the Rams. And that's, listen, Daddy, you talk about must-watch TV. okay? Caleb Williams versus Matt Stafford, kind of the new generation of quarterback, the next generation of quarterback, and Caleb Williams against Matt Stafford, who himself led one of the most impressive drives of the weekend. Like I said, we'll get into all of these games. So it's Wild Card Weekend was the best, in my opinion, it could have possibly been. Outside of a certain coach who cheated his butt off at a horrible university. But nonetheless, all right, Wild Card Weekend was fantastic. And this Bear and Packer game is everything you want in a football game, unless you're a Packer fan. I actually do feel bad for Packer fans here.
Oh, come on, shut up.
I do. I just...
You are too much of an empath when it comes to sports.
I am. I do. To blow that, Christian, to blow that lead, you had to hear all week of guys like myself, yourself, Colin Russo. We were all saying, hey, listen, LaFleur loses this game, the Packers got to question everything. You jump out to that 21-3 lead, and it's 21-6. It's like, all right, feel great going into the fourth quarter. We're about to win a playoff game for the first time, 4 years, 5 years? Nope. Denied. The Bear defense showed up when they needed to in that fourth quarter, and the Bears rattled off 25 straight points. 25 straight points in that fourth quarter. I'm happy for the Bear fan. Like I said, Christian's girlfriend is a Bear fan. I know plenty of Bear fans doing sports radio in Illinois for 3 years. I mean, that is everything to them. That team is everything to them. It's a football town. I know they love their Cubbies and their Sox and their Blackhawks, but push comes to shove, Chicago is a Bear town. And for them to get that win, that was the single most surprising thing I saw all weekend long. 888-760-3776, that number to call on in. Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey. This is Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3. We're breaking down that Bear and Packer game. And I'm going to go through a couple more things that I thought were really surprising. I got a couple of things that were not very surprising over a crazy wild card weekend. But once again, 888-760-3776, that number to call on in. All right, Christian, after that crazy win, question for you. How many more games do the Bears win in the playoffs this year? Obviously, it's the divisional round coming up next. They're going to have a home playoff game. If they win that, it's the NFC Championship game. In your eyes, how many more games do the Bears when they got the Rams next?
Yeah, I'm going to be in Chicago during that game. Not going to the game. I'm not rich. But I will be in the town for that. So it pains me to say I doubt they can get past Matt Stafford and the Rams. Because when you want to talk about the decisions that were made for the Packers and the lack of execution from the Packers in the second half of Saturday night's game, I doubt we see a similar style collapse from the Los Angeles Rams, who similarly struggled with running the football as of late, like you saw the Packers in the second half, where they were just put in these situations where it was, all right, you got to get us a first down, even though we're up by 2 scores or up by one score. Hey, Jordan Love, you got to get us a first down on second down because we have nothing going on in the ground game. I feel like Matt Stafford's going to do that and more, and you have much more of a talented head coach when it comes to the offensive side of the football, where he watched what went wrong for the Packers against the Bears this week. I think he's going to become well prepared, and I do not think you can spot the Rams a 21-3 advantage and expect to come back like you were able to against the Packers.
I tend to agree with you. But I'm more on the side of I think the Bear defense might be the worst unit left in the playoffs. Broncos, Bills, Patriots, Seahawks, Niners, Rams, Bears. I think they are the worst unit that is left in the NFL playoffs. And I think if you set yourself behind the sticks against a team like the Rams, I don't know if you're going to be able to come back. Now, listen, I probably would have said the same thing about Green Bay. That's why, if you told me the Bears are coming back, if you thought the Bears were coming back in that fourth quarter at 25 points, I straight up don't believe you. All right. That was one of the, and that's why you love sports. That's the reason you watch sports, is to watch a game like that, unless it's your team, right? None of the Packer fans can stomach sports. Watching football, they can't even stomach talking to anybody about it. So unless you're a Packer fan, that's why you watch sports, is for a great game like that Bear and Packer game. But
So the reason why that defense looked so bad, or maybe worse than they have all season long, it's they weren't forcing the turnovers that they've been relying on. Like the Bears forced the most turnovers in the NFL in 2025, which obviously helps a lot when you're stealing possessions from your opposition. And you saw just a couple of unlucky fumble bounces. Over that big offensive lineman that caught the dump off where Jordan Love nearly got sacked for a safety, dumps it off to the big fat guy, and he doesn't know when to go down. So not only does he get peanut punched, ball comes out, he punts it 15 yards down the field, and the Packers got the football back. Plays like that, similar bounces like that, did not happen, or did happen for the Bears, did not benefit the Bears in that game on Saturday, making their defense especially look vulnerable and gettable throughout the rest of this postseason.
I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl before the postseason started. As much as I want to sit here and pick the Bears, I'm going to stay true to my prediction. I think the Rams get them here, but I really think that this was a tremendous next step for Caleb Williams. I think winning that game, and not that Bear fans were down on Williams. Like, obviously, Chicago Bear fans love Caleb. Like, I think that was his 30-something, and I'm shooting from the hip here. I remember hearing now on the broadcast. It was like his 30-some start in a row, which is the most a Bears quarterback has started in a row for the franchise, I mean, since Papa Bear Hallis was around. All right. So, with that said, though, I think this win puts him on the next level for Bear fan, for the city, and for the organization. It was so fun to see him with the cheese grater after the game on that Amazon Prime broadcast. Like, I really think that this win is going to do wonders for Caleb Williams being a pro. What we're saying, and listen, this was coming from my friends, all right? My football circles, okay, is that he's more worried about off the field stuff. They can't stand the nail painting. They can't stand the way he acts and this and that. The guy wins. You can now say the guy wins football games, all right? The guy
More
wins.
importantly, he beats the Packers. He's 3-2 against the Packers. If you look at the past 10 years, the Packers themselves are Packers are 17-4 against the Bears. And 3 of those losses are against Caleb Williams.
And how about Ben Johnson? And where I wanted to go next after the Caleb conversation, Christian, was the Ben Johnson one, because he did exactly what he said he was going to do in his introductory press conference, which was beat the Packers twice. Now, listen, I don't think anyone in their wildest dreams thought it was going to be a home playoff game at home, being down, 16 points in the fourth quarter, or 15 points. You get the point. He beat him twice, and I love the way he acted. He pulled the Matt LaFleur. He did what Matt LaFleur did to him with the quick handshake and go.
Yeah.
Great stuff in a rivalry.
Yeah, you kind of have 2 guys that entered this organization a year separated. Of course, you had Caleb Williams get drafted, and then year 2 of Caleb Williams, you have Ben Johnson. And there's one thing that's very important that they both have, and it's that they hate the Packers. There is nothing that will endear you to a city if you display a similar level of sports hate to that city's rival. You might let me down here and there. Maybe you throw a pick. Maybe you have a questionable go for it on 4th down on your own 34-yard line in the second quarter. But if you are doing it in the interest of hating that team on the other sideline, that it has been the thorn, bigger than a thorn. They've been the knife in your back for decades. Okay, you get a lot more leeway when you hate the Packers like Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams truly do.
I also think that Ben Johnson ascends to the savior as well. You got your head coach and you got your quarterback. 2 most important things in the NFL and an organization. Quarterback and a head coach. And Ben Johnson, to win a playoff game in his first year, is you think of Bill Belichick, you think of Don Shula, you think of Tom Landry, Rex Ryan, John Harbaugh. Those are the coaches that have done it. Rex back in the day, how about this? The Jets have been miserable for a long time, not to get too sidetracked, but Rex Ryan achieved 2 AFC championship games in his first 2 years with the New York Jets. All right, and then after that, obviously, it completely fell apart. But good times are on the horizon for Bear fans, and I can't. maybe I'm rubbing it in a little bit too much to the Packer fans that are listening. We have a lot of Packer fans here that work for Good Karma Brands. We have we have 3 sister stations in Wisconsin itself. But this is the Bears Monday. This is their victory Monday, their biggest victory Monday that they've had, I could say, since 2011.
It's got to be awesome to be a team that won on Saturday because you get to worry-free enjoy football on Sunday, and you have your victory Monday. You have a bonus victory day when you win a playoff game on Saturday in the NFL. It's got to be a cool, just a life to live in these last 48 hours for those that root for the Bears and root for the Rams, if all 14 of them.
888-760-3776. We're breaking down that Bear and Packer game in what I think was the best game of a loaded slate of games over the weekend. It is the Baptist Health Hotline, 888-760-3776. Once again, if you want to chime in on all of the great conversations, let us know, 888-760-3776, the Baptist Health Hotline. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be having a blast at the South Florida Fair here coming up because it's a pirate theme. And you guys know I love pirates. So ahoy, mateys. The South Florida Fair invites guests of all ages to set sail on the exciting adventure with the 2026 Party with the Pirates. You get to unleash your inner pirate, like me, with a variety of activities, entertainment, fair food, and attractions inspired by the legends of the wee high seas, including legends of the Frozen Cove ice skating show, those piggy races, and the thrice abracadabra. Abracadabra. How about let's try that again. Abracadabra.
Is abracadabra a pirate word?
Arr.
I think that's exclusive to magicians.
Christian.
I know it's on the paper in front of you. I'm not questioning you, but I'm just worried. I'm wondering about that. The abracadabra. When is a pirate said abracadabra?
What I want you to do, Christian, is to visit southfloridafair.com for more information, event schedules, including Bike Night, South Florida Fair parade times, and the Classic Rock Tribute Band Competition. Tickets are on sale now, southfloridafair.com or at your nearest Publix. Arr! All right, Christian, when we come back, we'll break down more of the NFL playoffs. Once again, 888-760-3776 is that Baptist Health Hotline. If you want to give us a shout on what you thought of that game, the Bears coming back 25 straight points and beating their bitter rival at home. I still got to get into a couple of more things that I found surprising over the weekend and the things I didn't find very surprising over the weekend. Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey, Christian Cat behind the glass. We're theoretically speaking today on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Hi, this is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers, paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. with Smithball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
It's Tina. You know how important it is to keep your car running. And when it comes to my car, I only trust St. Lucie Battery and Tire. They've been taking care of South Florida for over 50 years, and they're still family owned. Need new tires? They've got all the big brands. Battery issues? They've got it. Cars, trucks, boats, RVs, and even commercial fleets. And if you ever get stuck, their 24/7 roadside emergency service is a total lifesaver. Go see my friends at St. Lucie Battery and Tire, slbt.com. They'll keep you going. Hey, Culligan man!
Good people. It's Theo Dorsey. Let's kick off the new year with a home upgrade that's a win for you and the environment. A Culligan high-efficiency water softener helps you use less soap, less detergent, and fewer chemicals. Talk about a game-winning play. Try Culligan today for 12 months interest-free. Visit Culligan.com for more information and to schedule your free water test. Or just say,
Hey, Culligan man!
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Today's tax tip is brought to you by Anshin Accountants and Advisors with Jeff Bowden, Executive Principal and leader of Anshin's Tax Department.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act creates powerful new planning opportunities for high net worth individuals and business owners. The new tax legislation permanently increases the estate and gift tax exemption to $15 million per person, restores full expensing for domestic R&D costs, updates the Opportunity Zone and qualified small business stock provisions, and includes other changes that will impact businesses and individuals. At Anshin, a partner-owned firm since 1923, we help clients understand the intricacies of the bill and develop a plan tailored to meet their goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner looking to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't.
For more tax tips from Anshin, visit Anshin.com. That's ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, helping you recalculate what's possible.
Hey, y'all get some more drinks going on. I sound a whole lot better.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey. And folks, the PGA Tour is coming back to Palm Beach County. The Cognizant Classic returns to the PGA National Resort and Spa February 25th. February 25th through March 1st. It is February 25th through March 1st. You can watch all of your favorite PGA players coming up at the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. Tickets are on sale, and tickets for the 2026 tournament are on sale by going to cognizantclassic.com. That is cognizantclassic.com. You know the Bear Trap. You know all the great things that they got coming up at the Cognizant Classic. I remember last year, man, Colin and I, we ate around the world. All right, we ate around the world at the Cognizant Classic. So get your tickets now for the 2026 tournament by going to cognizantclassic.com. That's cognizantclassic.com. The Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. We'll see you at the Bear Trap. All right, well, the Eagles lost a playoff game. Which means Nick Sirianni's getting fired, right? With how that fan base operates, with how, how much I can't keep up with that organization, that means Nick Sirianni's probably getting fired, right? No. I will say this about the Eagles, Christian. That offense was a disgrace on so many levels. And I truly, I told you guys, I have my list of surprising things, of not so surprising things over the weekend. Leading off my not surprised list, the Eagles offense blowing up. Michelle Smallman, I was listening to Unsportsmanlike today, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. You can listen right here on ESPN 106.3. Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, Michelle Smallman. Michelle had the stat, 4 drops on third downs. 4 drops on third downs. That is the most in a playoff game since they started keeping track of this in 2006. A.J. Brown was a disgrace. Him and Nick Sirianni getting in a shouting match, which later on Nick Sirianni defended A.J. Brown after the game. I mean, geez, they egged Kevin Patullo's house. Kevin Patullo, by the way, the offensive coordinator for the Eagles. I think they got to have security at that place after that game.
Oh, they have Big Dom on the sideline with a headset on, so he's booked. They got to find somebody else.
I mean, Christian, like, I understand that there are expectations for the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, you won a Super Bowl last year. You won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. You've been arguably one of the more successful teams in the NFL outside of the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, I get it. Fans are supposed to be crazy. You know, they're fanatics. Fan is short for fanatics. I mean, these people are crazy. Now, LaShawn McCoy, Christian's got sound of LaShawn McCoy talking specifically about the offensive troubles. Obviously, everyone's blaming Kevin Patullo, going to the blame game of the wide receivers dropping the passes, but former All-Pro running back LaShawn McCoy has a different version of why he thinks the Eagles' offense is struggling. Take a listen.
Jalen Hurts, I gotta be honest, man. Like, Jalen Hurts, I need you to be special. Make plays. You know, and then, like, I did a lot of digging, man. And I won't throw them under the bus here, but I know some people, right? And the problem is we can't do different exotic looks, different formations, different motions, because I'm hearing that he can't really do it.
And, of course, LaShawn McCoy played several seasons with the Eagles, so it's believable for him to have an inside voice on that Eagles locker room.
I guess I can't take this serious is the wrong way to go about it. Like, listen, they've struggled this year. Hurts has not thrown over 250 yards a lot of times this year. It's been a whole lot of 160, 180 yards and maybe a touchdown or two. But I could hardly put that game on him. 2 for 9 on third down, the Eagles in the second half. 2 for 9. You could put that on him, fine. But the drops, can you control A.J. Brown dropping the ball? Can you control receivers dropping the ball on 3rd and 11? If you're Jalen Hurts, I'd like to think no. And this was a quarterback who made all of the throws against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year. This is a quarterback who took the Eagles to the Super Bowl getting through the NFC last year. This is what we do. We nitpick the best teams. You try to come up with reasons why things are struggling. It just wasn't their year. I would probably, if I were the Eagles, I personally wouldn't fire Nick Sirianni. I don't think Sirianni needs to be fired. I would go out and try to find the best offensive coordinator on the market. I mentioned Mike McDaniel. Go get him. Mike McDaniel is going to be a coordinator, I think, for at least the next 2 or 3 years until maybe he could be realistically considered for a job. Spare me with the Browns, by the way. All right, the Browns aren't hiring McDaniel. I know they're interviewing him, but spare me on that. They're not going to hire that guy. So I would try to figure things out at the coordinator spot. And organizationally, I don't know who Shady McCoy is hearing this stuff from. I like to think that they still believe in Jalen Hurts as their franchise quarterback. I don't think they're going to move off him. All right. And I think it was more about that run game with Saquon Barkley never getting on track this season. He almost broke the record. He almost broke Eric Dickerson's record last year.
He chose not to go for it in Week 18. Instead, better the chance of the Eagles win a Super Bowl if he sat.
Where was that mentality this year? Oh, wait. We were too worried about A.J. Brown blowing up after a game because he's not getting the ball. I'd trade him. And listen, like I know Eagle fans don't necessarily might not want to hear that today. They want that. They want a high-powered offense where him and Smith are getting the ball more. Whatever. Listen, I'd get rid of him. What a distraction. I'm over A.J. Brown, man. I'm done with that. You're going to freak out all year and then be a no-call, no-show in that game? And listen, I don't know what the hell Sirianni told Brown. He probably yelled at him for the drop. And then you're going to freak out on your head coach after you're one of the big reasons why you're not going to be winning that football game. Dare I say I'm happy the Eagles lost just because I can't stand their fans. I told you, Christian, I've told you numerous times, I actually like a lot of the players for the Eagles. They have the best executive in the NFL, the best GM in the NFL. Sirianni's a paisan. I try to get behind him, but dude, the fans just make it so hard. They really do. They make it hard to like anything that team remotely does. And I think it was more about the Eagles. And I know a lot of people might disagree with this, but my personal opinion, it was more about the Eagles blowing that game than the Niners technically coming back plethora of times in that fourth quarter and winning. Like Purdy threw 2 interceptions in the game. I don't think he was that great in the game. I think there needs to be a study done on Shanahan and the Niners offense. I've never seen one player in particular like Christian McCaffrey be used. He is their whole team. Christian McCaffrey is their entire team. I know the Robinson guy played well, but McCaffrey led the Niners in receiving yards and rushing yards this year. And I think it was the second time in McCaffrey's career where he went for 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards. You know where they want to go. They're going to throw to the sideline. They're going to throw to McCaffrey. And then the Eagles, I say they couldn't stop it. I thought the defense did enough to win the game. You got to figure something out offensively. And I think if you're an Eagle fan, you were expecting a performance like this, the Eagle offense blowing up. I don't think they need to fire Sirianni. I don't think they need to change a lot of things. They need to get the right offensive coordinator in there, maybe beef up that offensive line so Saquon Barkley can look like Saquon Barkley, and get A.J. Brown the hell out of town. Send him to Oakland. Las Vegas. Send him anywhere but the Philadelphia Eagles. That's where I'm at this point with them, Christian.
Am I crazy for thinking that the Eagles would be a lot better if they were always getting consistent competition within their own division? Because the Eagles were not last year's Eagles in terms of what they presented to us each and every football weekend. And the Commanders dropped off. They were no competition. The Cowboys were interesting for like 2 weeks, and then they dropped off, no competition. Giants beat the Eagles once, and that was the last meaningful win for the Giants in 2025. It felt like it is hard to fight off complacency when you are the defending champs. Back-to-back is very hard to do. It's hard to be as hungry as you were the first time around. But I think that's especially difficult when you are unchallenged within your own division. Because we saw last year, Commanders challenged the Eagles. The last time the Eagles made a run in the playoffs and went all the way to the Super Bowl, lost the Chiefs, you saw the Eagles challenged by the Cowboys in that division. I think there's a certain aspect of iron sharpening iron that better prepares you for the playoffs, not individually in those games against good teams in your division, but never being able to take your foot off the gas, because the Eagles have been smooth sailing in terms of their hopes to win the division for a better part of 2 months now. And I'm not just talking about sitting guys in Week 18, which they did. They're well within their rights to. But I'm just talking about a general complacency in their offense just getting by. Am I nuts?
I'm interested in that, Christian, because coming up at 2:45, we're going to be talking to Mike Tannenbaum. We'll ask him on why we think, the Eagles struggled the way they did this year. Granted, they won 11 games. That's why, Christian, I listen to the division shout, but I go back to, and listen, I know it's Brady, I know it's Belichick, but God, did they destroy that division. And more often than not, those teams were bad. I mean, Buffalo was bad. The Jets were, outside of Rex Ryan for 2 years, bad.
But I also think anything in comparison to the Patriots is an extraneous data point. Like, nothing can be compared to the Patriots.
Right. I saw a team win Super Bowls, be successful in a lousy division outside of them for years. And I understand not everyone is Belichick and Brady, which, in my opinion, best head coach and quarterback tandem ever. You had Brady on the offense with McDaniel, and you had Belichick on the defensive side. I think I could just dumb it down to the offense was not good enough this year. That's it. The defense showed up when it needed to show up. I felt outside of the lob touchdown by Brock Purdy to Christian McCaffrey late in the game to put them up, I thought the defense did everything they needed to do to win that football game. God forbid the offense did him some favors, got him off the field, and gave him a breather. I mean, I can't take – and I know I'm on A.J. Brown hard here. I actually think A.J. Brown is a solid player. I think maybe a change of scenery is exactly what that man needs. But I can't listen to it anymore. I can't do him complaining after the game and then in the regular season and then having a playoff performance like that. Drops after drop after drop, and the key drop on one of those final drives. The third, what was it? The 3rd and 11, the 3rd and 14, right across the middle of the field, and it's right in his hands. I thought Hurts put it on the money, too. 888-760-3776. That is the Baptist Health Hotline. We're going to be talking to Mike Tannenbaum here coming up in 5 minutes. Whole lot to react to with Mike T over Wild Card Weekend. Really can't wait to hear what he thinks about Caleb Williams and the Bears, too, because I know Mike T, he loves himself some Jordan Love. I'm interested in hearing if he puts any credit into the reports that Matt LaFleur and the Packers are apparently trying to figure out a deal. All that coming up next. Theoretically speaking, Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo. Christian Katt behind the glass here at the City Place Studios on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
The 2 p.m. hour is presented by the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. Teeing off February 25th at PGA National. Get your tickets today at thecognizantclassic.com.
Glow wild this holiday season at Lion Country Safari during their first ever nighttime festival, Lanterns and Lights Safari Nights. Come experience a brand new adventure as you stroll through illuminated displays featuring wildlife from across the world and prehistoric legends. Enjoy festive food and drinks, snap radiant photos, or play on glowing swings and seesaws. It's interactive fun for the whole family. See Lion Country Safari like you've never seen it before at Lanterns and Lights Safari Nights. Now glowing select nights November to January. Details at lioncountrysafari.com.
Attention business owners, the next several months are going to be super busy. Why not let us take some of the burden off of you? Get the help you need from Intelligent Office in Palm Beach Gardens. Professional live receptionists to answer, screen, and forward all of your calls to you live. Why do you need a virtual assistant? No high salaries, no holidays or sick pay, no call-outs, no turnover, and no additional equipment. Call 561-472-8400 or visit intelligentoffice.com to learn more how we can help you streamline your day.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, official credit union of Florida Atlantic Athletics.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and I swear there's nothing like hearing a perfect touchdown call on the radio. The announcer goes crazy, the crowd erupts, and I'm pounding my steering wheel cheering along. If you love football on the radio like me, well, then you love ESPN 106.3.
And they win 41-40.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and I...
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Manzo's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Manzo's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
We also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
Hey everybody, it's Cade Chumsland. Every week, Land Rover Palm Beach supports local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community by naming a Player of the Week. This year, $35,000 will be awarded to student athletes and their schools. Tune in to ESPN West Palm High School Game Day every Friday night as I unveil this week's featured athlete. If you have a great performance that I need to know about, DM us at ESPN West Palm. Land Rover Palm Beach, above and beyond.
When a trophy is raised, it can feel like the season's over. But on the ESPN app, it never really is. Because with more than 47,000 live events, plus originals, highlights, and coverage from every corner of the sports world, there's always something to dive into on ESPN. That's no off-season, just everything a fan needs to keep going. Always in season, get all of ESPN, all in one place. Download the ESPN app on your TV or phone today to get involved.
Mondays just got better for the men of Palm Beach County. Unlimited Auto Wash is offering $5 off any wash every Monday at all 6 convenient locations. Men's Monday at Unlimited Auto Wash. Don't miss it.
Have to get to the Green Bay 49. Williams chase, throws, and it's caught at the 30-yard line. Roma Dunze on a 4th and 8.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey, theoretically speaking. Myself and Christian Catt on ESPN 1063. That was Al Michaels with a big completion by Caleb Williams late in the game. Christian's down on Al Michaels. I personally think we need to take – it is our responsibility to take care of our elderly. And I tip my cap to Kirk Herbstreit, fellow Ohio man and fellow Buckeye. I tip my cap to Kirk Herbstreit, who does God's work, taking care of Al Michaels on that Amazon broadcast. And Christian, to nobody's surprise, Al Michael is signing on for another year.
He's 82. 82 doing the dang thing.
I'll tell you what, man. Like I said, it is our responsibility to take care of our elderly, and we see Kirk Herbstreit do that every single Thursday on the Amazon broadcast. College football fans, I want you to get ready. The ESPN Radio College Football Campus Tour is rolling into City Place, West Palm Beach, before it heads down to Miami for the big game. Join us Saturday night, January 17th, from 4 to 8 for live ESPN radio shows. You can even try your shot at Serve Pro Rapid Response Reflex game. Play the Robin Hood football toss and enter to win some awesome giveaways. You'll maybe even get a free Monster Energy drink. Bring your friends, rep your school, and be a part of the action as the ESPN Radio Tour takes over City Place. Join us for the nonstop college football fun, the ESPN Radio College Football Campus Tour, Saturday, January 17th, 4 to 8 at City Place in beautiful West Palm Beach. Once again, the College Football Campus Tour, Saturday, January 17th, 4 to 8, City Place in beautiful West Palm Beach. Do not miss it. Well, joining us now, very special guest, our guy, Mike Tannenbaum, who's going to be dropping some Tannenbaums with us, theoretically speaking, today. Mike, I'm filling in for Theo, partner. How you doing today?
Doing great. How about yourself?
What a weekend it was for wild card football, Mike. I wanted to start with that Packer and that Bear game. I personally think that was with all the great games that we got, and Mike, truly every game, probably outside of that New England and Charger game, was a great game. What was your reaction of the Bears coming back and winning that football game and doing it against their bitter rival, the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, I still think Caleb Williams is a really hard evaluation because there are sometimes he looks like he's going to be Patrick Mahomes and like the next iconic player in our sport. And then there's other times, Mike, where in the first half, he was last in the NFL in completion percentage. So I thought he was inconsistent, but obviously made a couple of plays that nobody else could make, which was, tremendous. And I thought Green Bay's inability to run the ball in the second half was the big difference in the game.
And Mike, I know you're a big Jordan Love guy. Do you think he did enough for the Packers to win that game? Were you impressed with him against the Bears there?
Yeah, well, look, at a minimum, their kicker cost them 4 points. Arguably, he cost them 7, 2 field goals and an extra point. So, it's hard to win road playoff games when your kicker is kicking that poorly. But I do think Jordan Love was part of the solution, absolutely.
Now, Mike, the Bears, that win, do you give them a fighter's chance against the Rams here coming up? I understand that 2011, Mike, was the last time that they won a home playoff game in front of their fans. In Mike Tannenbaum's eyes, how many more games do the Chicago Bears win in the playoffs this season?
Yeah, I like the Rams. I think the Rams could win the Super Bowl this year. I kind of feel like the Bears are a year away from being a year away, taking nothing away from what they've accomplished this year, but I think the Rams are the more complete team.
Mike Tannenbaum, former NFL executive and current ESPN analyst, is our guest. Now, Mike, we agree on the Rams. Before the playoffs started, I had the Rams taking on the Bills in the Super Bowl and Sean McVay hoisting that trophy for the second time. Let's go there next, because I think one of the more surprising things I saw over the weekend was the way Carolina played against the Rams. It was looking like they could have won that game for the second time this year. They beat the Rams earlier in the regular season. What were your thoughts on the Panthers showing up in a big way, but Matt Stafford having another Hall of Fame moment in the playoffs?
Yeah, I thought absolutely. There was a handful of plays. If they went the other way, Mike, we're talking about a Panther win, at home, as you said, beating them for the second time. So I thought Bryce Young played pretty well, made his legs extended, the plays when he needed to. And then that throw from Stafford to Clarkson was unbelievable. Very few players on the planet can make that throw with, he hurt his finger earlier, Mike, and give him a ton of credit. I was really impressed by some of the plays that Stafford made.
Well, Mike, it's doomsday in Philadelphia. The Eagles getting bounced after only one game, not winning a single game post a Super Bowl run. Are you like every other Philadelphia fan that is calling for Kevin Patullo's head? Mike, where did that offense go so wrong this year? And how did they have four drops on third down in a home playoff game?
Yeah, so look, I'm not saying Kevin Patullo did a great job, but you take away the drops and the record with Lane Johnson, their decorated right tackle in and out of the lineup is significant. So I think Cam Jones a year ago, they lost Mekhi Becton, Lane Johnson was out, so it was a combination of all those things.
And then, Mike, obviously, A.J. Brown, Nick Sirianni, we all kind of saw that spat on the sideline. Mike, you were a very successful GM in the NFL. How would you handle a situation like that with one of your star players and A.J. Brown and your head coach kind of getting into it? And I know Sirianni talked about it after the game, but is there something you would do with that situation being a former GM?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you try to make that family business. There are going to be, disagreements, little spouts on the sideline. We all know that, Mike. But you want to be, as the head coach, the chief problem-solving officer, amongst other things. So you want to tamp that down, with a great but emotional player in A.J. Brown.
Now, the Bills and the Jags played one of the better games that we saw in the wild card, Mike. I mean, how about the Bills doing the tush push to really put a nail in the coffin in that game? How surprised were you that the Bills were able to overcome a pretty good Jags team? Mike, everyone I talked to thought the Jags were going to win this game and then go to a Super Bowl. What were your thoughts on the Bills beating the Jags in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I thought it was an infomercial for why we talk about quarterbacks as much as we do, Mike. He's the best player on the planet right now, and he's the reason they won. He made a couple of plays with his arm and his legs, Mike, that were just incredible. And I think the future's bright for Trevor Lawrence. I don't think it's not, but right now I'm hard-pressed to say that Josh Allen isn't the best player in our sport.
Yeah, and the conversations with the Bills is that, they don't have the defense to go on a run. They don't have this. They won the game, and they're on their way to play against the Broncos, which we'll break down here coming up next week. Mike, final game before we get into the Monday Night Football game was that Patriot and Charger game. Once again, we sit here saying the Chargers blew it in the playoffs. Justin Herbert, a lot of people call social media's quarterback, never won a playoff game. I understand he got pressured in the game, Mike. I'm a Justin Herbert guy myself, but I'm having trouble defending him and also defending the Chargers today, who put up 3 points in the final game of Wild Card Weekend before the Monday night bout between the Steelers and the Texans. What were your thoughts on the Chargers kind of charging again?
Yeah, I thought a couple things. Quentin Johnston really needed to step up, play outside the numbers, win one-on-one, former first-round pick out of TCU. He didn't. And with Omarion Hampton out, their 2 starting tackles out, I think just too many hits for Justin Herbert. And they went up against a team that has a really good defense, Mike, and they were the bullies and they were the better team.
What do you make of Mike Vrabel, too? His first, his first playoff game as a Patriot head coach, beating Harbaugh, beating the Chargers. What a turnaround it's been there this year, Mike, with the Patriots.
Yep. He's done a great job. Milton Williams was a great signing. Morgan Moses, Stephon Diggs, Robert Spillane. They did a great job. And obviously, Drake May got a lot better, Mike, and here we are. They're going to be hard to beat. They could go in and beat Denver with that defense.
Mike Tannenbaum, former NFL GM and current ESPN analyst, is our guest here on Theoretically Speaking. Mike, we got one more game. It's the Steelers and it's the Texans. Mike, why do I like the Steelers in this game? Why do I like Aaron Rodgers in this game?
Yeah, I do too. I think pre-snap he'll know where to go with the ball, and I think they'll have DK Metcalf back and run after catch. I actually like the Steelers too, and I think the inability for Houston to run the ball, which will allow Highsmith and Watt to get after the quarterback, the one vulnerability they have is their inability to, protect the passer consistently, and I think that comes back to bite them. I think it's a really low-scoring game, and I think DK Metcalf in the third quarter has a 60-yard catch and run, and they win like 14-6 or 14-9.
It's been well documented, Mike, how great Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are on home Monday night football games. A little bit of variety, it being a playoff game here tonight. Is this a coincidence or correlation to the coach teams by Mike Tomlin?
Yeah, I mean, he's done a great job, C-Katt, for a long time. And, I know there's a lot of criticism about, well, they don't go far in the playoffs and all, but my gosh, he gets them there every year. They're ready to play. They don't beat themselves. Boswell's a great kicker. They can rush the passer. I think kind of like what Mike was saying, C-Katt, I think they make the 1 or 2 plays, and I like Pittsburgh.
Now, Mike, there have been a ton of, coaching kind of developments. Let's start with the Matt LaFleur one. The report today from Adam Schefter is that the Packers and Matt LaFleur are going to try to figure out a deal. Mike, do you think that they're going to be able to come to terms? Do you see LaFleur coaching in Green Bay again coming up next season?
Yeah, I don't think they're one of these organizations that would say that, Mike, unless they meant it. I know it's out there like, oh, now he's available to be traded, and that is true. I don't think that's the vibe you get from the Packers. I think they're a little bit of that Midwest, and you're a Cleveland guy, you say something and you mean it, and I don't know. Could he be traded? Of course, but my sense of it is they'll work something out. Maybe, he doesn't get what he wants on an average per year, but maybe he gets an extra year. There's a lot of different ways to skin the cat. I think he'll be back.
Mike Tannenbaum, former NFL GM and current ESPN analyst, is our guest. Mike, John Harbaugh, your best guest partner. Where do you think he ends up? I'm seeing reports the Giants and the Falcons as possibly being the 2 favorite spots for him to land. Can you shed any insight on where you think Harbaugh might end up?
Yeah, maybe Tennessee. I think he's a little bit of a Midwest guy himself, and I'll throw Tennessee into the mix.
I as a Cleveland Brown fan, Mike, I wish we could throw them in there. Mikey, before we let you go, partner, we got obviously we're going to be having a national championship right here in our backyard. The Miami Hurricanes going to be playing for a national championship on their home field against Kirk Cignetti and the Hoosiers. Mike, when was the last time you saw something like Indiana and Kirk Cignetti and what they're doing with the Hoosiers right now?
Yeah, I think when Gino Auriemma first got to UConn women's basketball, Dawn Staley at South Carolina, Steve Kerr with the Warriors, we're talking about all-time greats.
I tend to agree with you, Mike. Do you think the Hurricanes stand a chance?
Yeah, I think, from a scouting standpoint, this is a scout's dream. You're going to get, an A Hoosiers offensive line against an A Hurricane defensive line. I hope Indiana's down 21-17 with a minute 50 on the clock and 2 timeouts at their own 20, and let's see what happens.
Mike, we appreciate you joining, partner. We'll catch up with you here on Russo and Rizzo later on in the week, partner, all right?
All right, thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
That was Mike Tannenbaum, former NFL GM and current ESPN analyst, who said he likes the Rams to win the whole kit and caboodle. I do too, Christian. I do too.
Yeah, your Super Bowl is still alive, is it not?
Yep. It's and now, Christian, you and I are both into the gambling trend. Shout out our good friends at Hard Rock Bet. I was looking at some of the trends, and that's, those are the gambling favorites.
The most popular pick is
correct.
the Rams to win it all?
Is the Rams and Buffalo to basically get there against each other. So
that kind of makes sense. Buffalo's the battle-tested team in terms of this iteration with Josh Allen in the playoffs, and they're going up against a bunch of teams that are kind of newcomers on the scene, and the Steelers who don't quite have the talent to match up. It makes sense in the AFC. And then NFC-wise, kind of the same in terms of the Rams played the Eagles better than anybody last year and have put great stuff on tape for the most of 2025, and they've got the experience at quarterback.
I wonder how Denver is going to look. The Rams are playing a team who already played a playoff game in the Bears. I tend to think and agree with Mike, obviously, to what Christian alluded to. My championship's still alive. I tend to think that the Rams are going to beat the Bears, but I think Denver. I'm more worried about the Bills bowing out to Denver just because of that home field. And listen, I don't want to say they remind me of the Chiefs from the last couple of years. They win games. It's not pretty, but they win games. I mean, what did they? They won double-digit games in a row this year. So I think that's going to be a very, very interesting game coming up in the divisional round. The Broncos hosting the Bills. Let's take a time out here on Theoretically Speaking. Once again, thanks again, our good buddy Mike Tannenbaum, former NFL GM and ESPN analyst, for joining the show. When we return, plenty of football still to talk about. And, does Miami have a chance? I really watched that game on Friday night at the Guitar, and I kind of wondered to myself, man, Indiana's pretty doggone good. More football on Theoretically Speaking when we return in the second hour on ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet, home of Inter Miami, Miami Heat, and the Miami Dolphins. Catch all the action and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 106.3. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. Wager terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMITTED.
Hi. I'm Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. As you have likely seen and heard, law firm advertising is at an all-time high. Attorney ads seem to be part of every radio and TV commercial segment. Some firms are even using paid actors and actresses to speak for them. At Smith Ball Baez and Prather, we know that the decision to hire a law firm should never be based on advertisements alone. It is our past results and many positive 5-star reviews that we encourage you to read at smithball.com to learn more about our law firm. We have board-certified lawyers. We have lawyers listed in the best lawyers in America and in super lawyers. But most importantly, we have experienced lawyers located right here in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast that are ready to be your advocate and your voice, and fully prepared to start fighting for your legal rights today. Our purpose, legal power. Our mission, huge results. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com. pbhnphysiciangroup.com to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
As teams fight for their shot to hoist the trophy, make sure the only thing turning up the heat is the action on the field. Keep your home in the win column with EDS Air Conditioning. Qualified customers can score 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in the postseason, not in your living room. With more than 800 Google reviews and a 4.8-star rating, EDS has been the trusted MVP since 2006. Visit EDSIsYes.com today. Stay cool through every playoff moment and don't sweat the small stuff.
Many people start trimming trees when they hear a storm is on the way, but that leaves piles of branches on the ground that could become dangerous projectiles during a storm. Instead, having a year-round trimming plan is better for you, your neighbors, and the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County. When trimming is done correctly and on schedule, your trees are stronger and more resistant to wind damage. After the storm passes, there's less vegetative debris, helping the SWA clean up your community faster. Learn more at swa.org/storm.
Spring Training 2026 is coming fast to Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium as the Miami Marlins and St. Louis Cardinals return to Jupiter for 30 games in 30 days from February 21st to March 22nd. Come out to the ballpark this spring and make a memory that lasts a lifetime. Season tickets, groups, and mini plans are on sale right now. Purchase your baseball experience at RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com. See you soon at America's busiest ballpark.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Victory Monday for all the wild card winners and Graveyard Monday for all the wild card team losers. Is Matt LaFleur going to be with the Green Bay Packers? A lot of these things still need to be figured out. A couple of games we still need to touch on, too. That Jaguar-Bill game, I'm interested to hear from Christian. Christian was at the game with Jag fan, our household Jag fan, Colin Russo. And we're live at the City Place Studios, downtown West Palm Beach. Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo. You can stream us live. ESPN South Florida on YouTube. ESPN South Florida on X. Facebook. We're all over the place. Christian, your golf swing has come a long way, partner. Your golf swing has certainly come a long way. Now, you were gracious enough to invite me to go out and play golf a couple of times, but I'll tell you what, if I need to work on my golf swing, I know exactly where I'm going.
Yeah, the Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center, it's right in West Palm Beach, and I tell you what, when you are in season here in South Florida, if you don't spend your entire time living in South Florida, your golf game's probably very rusty. You probably are 10 to 15 to 20 strokes worse than you were when you hung up the clubs when the season ended and you went back up north. If you're back down here south now, you got to fix that game. You got to fix it fast because the clock is ticking on the amount of times you can take advantage of the wonderful golf courses we have across Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast. So you don't want to waste your time by playing bad. You want to play good. The way you play good, KaiserGolfCenter.com. KaiserGolfCenter.com. It's right in West Palm Beach, off I-95, off the Turnpike on South Military Trail. They've got the best facilities, the best tools, and the best coaching in the area. The experts know how to cater for every skill level. So if you are a scratch golfer, they're going to get you to score more. They're going to have you in the plus handicap where you have to give strokes to guys that are already scratch golfers. Maybe you are an 18 handicap and you want to get better, get to single digits. Or maybe you're just a hack. Maybe you're someone who just picked up the game and you're tired of topping the ball off the tee box and kind of getting embarrassed. No reason to get embarrassed anymore because you're going to fix your golf game and you're going to do it fast. KaiserGolfCenter.com. They've got the indoor facilities with the video replay analysis that have shows you your swing, shows you what you're doing right, shows you what you're doing wrong, shows what the pros do right, and how you can get looking like your Rory, look like your Tommy Fleetwood, looking like your new PGA Tour member once again, Brooks Koepka. You can do that inside of the Kaiser Golf Center, and then outside, they've got the massive chipping and putting green, the massive practice bunkers, and, of course, the driving range there as well. KaiserGolfCenter.com, KaiserGolfCenter.com. By the way, outside, there's shade, so you're not cooking in the sun. You got cover to hit the balls off the mats there. KaiserGolfCenter.com. Fix your golf game fast, just like me.
Now, I want to do it with the both of you when you're here. I want to do it when Colin is in the building as well with Russo and Rizzo. But not spoiling too much. Good trip, Christian, for you and Colin?
Yeah, quick, man. There and back. Had some pizza after the game. Relaxed, operating on few hours of sleep, but still doing okay.
Was Colin okay with the loss? I thought of him. I really did.
Yeah, he handled himself just fine.
Okay.
It was an unfortunate loss, but nothing you can point to and really blame. Very hardcore. It's just a good quarterback, a good football team, and one bad interception to finish it off. It kind of felt like Trevor Lawrence was going to at least make it interesting in the red zone, or at least get into Cam Little's field goal range to tie that game at the end, and he simply did not.
It's a tough draw for your first ever, not first ever playoff game, but first ever playoff game for Liam Cohen.
Yeah.
And these new Jags. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence coming back from a double-digit deficit with the Silver Fox, Doug Peterson, in that playoff game a couple of years ago against Staley, the Chargers, and Herbert. But what a tough draw, man, to face the Bills. Tough draw in the sense of this is the only team that really has ever been on a playoff run. You think they would have played well against the Chargers and how miserable they were? And don't worry, they're not off the chopping block. We'll get to the Chargers later on in the hour. But, I mean, you think they would have fared off better against the L.A. Chargers? So I think there's a lot of good that happened with Jacksonville. Christian, I think this is more about the Buffalo Bills gearing up for a Super Bowl run with Kansas City out of the picture, no Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. They, to me, are the team of destiny in the AFC.
Yeah, by default, kind of, right?
Yep.
I mean, because they felt like the team of destiny a couple of times. They were 2 quarterback sneaks away from representing the AFC last year. They were 13 seconds away from beating the eventual AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs, the team that lost to the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl in 2021. But, there is quite literally zero excuses.
Yeah,
and even though the Bills are going to take on the team that had the bye in the AFC next week, it should be the Bills because they've been there, they've done that, they've had the boogeyman in their way time and time again. Well, the boogeyman's been home for a couple of weeks now, and there is no one that is better at the quarterback position, especially in their conference right now.
Mike Tannenbaum, former GM and NFL analyst for ESPN, he joined us, and it's not necessarily a bomb. I just love playing this. No, he said Josh Allen's the best player in football. He is. I don't think it's arguable at this point.
Yeah,
I don't think you can argue it with the 2 rushing touchdowns, the great throwing touchdown he had yesterday, and did he? I mean, he played mistake-free football. And I really think that's what was needed, and that's what was needed to beat the Jags and this team who had a lot of momentum playing at home.
Yeah, it wasn't too glamorous and it wasn't too quarterbacky in terms of your classic standing in the pocket and making beautiful throws like that for Josh Allen. You're right. He didn't make many mistakes, really, at all. He took like 1, maybe 2 sacks that he probably would have liked to get the football away. But more often than not, he took those quick tunnel screen-ish type throws to the bundle of receivers he'd have, whether it was Shakir making the catch or not.
Yep.
And he would use his legs often, and the freaking quarterback sneaks, the tush-push that the Bills have co-opted as being the best in the NFL at that, surpassing the Eagles of the past 4 years, because you like 1 yard on 4th and 1. Well, you're going to love 10 yards on 4th and 1 with a quarterback sneak.
I'm sure every Bill fan, lost a gasp of air watching him do the tush push initially. Because remember, they tried to do it against Kansas City last year and, caught some Super Bowl, going to a Super Bowl. So I'm sure every Bill fan was hanging on for dear life, watching that one go down. But it ultimately turned out to be the right call. I mean, 2 tush pushes in a row for about 20 yards, Christian. I mean, geez.
Yeah, it looks like the Jaguars I think they were trying to get him in the end zone at the very end
Trying to get him to score.
Exactly, because, Josh
they want the ball back.
Yeah, exactly. Josh Allen showed us throughout the game multiple times that they can get 1 yard at a 95% clip. So it would be advantageous, which I'm so stunned the Bills did not take a knee or intentionally not score when they had 1st and goal from the 1 with about 1 minute and 15, I believe, was on the clock, where they could have juiced that clock all the way down and then had a sneak on 3rd and 4th down if they didn't get it the first time.
I'll say this. That puts a lot of pressure. Taking a knee like that and kind of saying it's tough, Christian, because I hear what you're saying. You don't want to give him the ball with time left. You don't want to give Trevor Lawrence and that Jag offense, Liam Cohen, any time with the football. But, man, you're playing with fire.
Sure, you're tempting fate a little bit.
You're down. You're losing. You're playing with fire if you start, as I call it, going NCAA 26, Mike Rizzo kneeing at the goal line and then getting stuffed by his best friend John Sabolic to lose the game because I didn't want to give him the ball back. That is an exact situation that happened with us in our video game. But I don't know. I'm always like real life football. Gotta try.
I don't know.
You gotta try to score.
If Trevor Lawrence did not throw an immediate interception like he did on the final drive of the game for the Jaguars, and the Jags drove down the field, got to the 45, had the wind at their back, Little makes the field goal, I think that's the number one topic we're talking about. Why would you score immediately? Just like I think it was Ahmad Bradshaw for the Giants accidentally scoring in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, giving the football back to Tom Brady with way too much time on the clock, the second of which of Eli Manning's Super Bowls. I think they got away with it. That's what I would say. I truly think it was the wrong decision to make if you were head coach Sean McDermott, if indeed that's what he decided to do.
It's an interesting way to look at it. And I feel like if you weren't a Bill fan, we were all rooting for Jacksonville to tie that game and get overtime.
Right, just for the game, right?
We were all rooting for it.
I think it's not exactly. I think a lot of the general public, with specifically those two teams, how many people hate the Bills?
Yeah.
No one thinks about the Jaguars. So at the very minimum, give me a beautiful appetizer to start this football game off with some overtime.
And it was boat day for the family yesterday. We were watching this game on the Atlantic, Christian. My God, was the Hard Rock Bet app. They were funneling cash. I was the only one who took the Bills on the boat. Everyone took the Jags on the boat.
Really?
Yep. It's funny because I stand corrected. My cousin Mikey actually did at the last second. He listened to me because he likes to think I know what I'm talking about doing this stuff for a living. And naturally, if you hear me and Colin make bets sometimes, you'd laugh at that. But he decided to follow me. And, man, everybody was freaking out. Everyone's like, all right, the exact conversations that you said. Left Lawrence too much time. This has been one of the best. And, you didn't even get a second to think about it.
Exactly.
The game was over. You didn't even get a second to think of, oh, my God, what if we get overtime or whatever. The game immediately ended. But
the Jaguars were running the ball down the Bills' throats in that game.
Yep.
They were getting whatever they wanted on the ground. Which really, you earlier said that the worst unit, so worst teams, offense or defense.
The Bears D.
The Bills had a claim for that with how they could not handle Bashal Tootin. Tootin was toting the rock and getting 12 yards easily.
Yes. Yeah, it's every time I look up, I'm like, all right, what's going on with it was very odd because after the game, my dad and my old man and I were talking, my uncle were all like, the Bills couldn't defend a lick of the run, and they still won the game. Did Cohen do his due diligence enough to run the football? He dropped back 30 times with Lawrence. These are all things you think about after you lose a home playoff game. But the big thing I wanted to get across to everyone I was with yesterday, and even everyone listening right now, I think this is just the start for the Jags. I know some Jag fan. I'm interested to see what Colin's got to say because I know dude, when you're good, Christian, you want to take advantage of it because you don't know the next time you're going to be there.
Tell it to the Lions. They were told that they're going to be there year in and year out, and they were not in the playoffs this year.
And I even go back to what I said earlier of The Bears' last home playoff win was 2011. And obviously, like when you think about these things, you go back to the moment in time. Folks, I was 16 years old in 11. I just got my license.
And that was the season of which the Bears finished their year with a loss to the Packers and the B.J. Raji return for a touchdown. So, yeah, it's a long time ago, and that season still finished very salty taste in their mouth.
And then 15 years later, you don't win your next playoff, your next home, but you don't win a home playoff game till then. Like I said, I knew myself when I was 16 being a crazy Brown fan. If the Browns won a home playoff game and were consistently good every single year, and someone told me we weren't going to win another one for the fifth, I probably would have fist fought you. You know what I mean? At that stupid young age that I was at. But that's just that's the fact of the situation, is that you don't know the next time you're going to be there. That's why every Buffalo Bill fan I talk to, and I know a lot of them, there are a lot of Bill fans down here in Palm Beach County. Every Bill fan I talk to is, you must take advantage of this window, because the last time we had a window like this, we went to 4 Super Bowls and lost all 4. And and I don't know what to say back to that. Like, that's why I like Buffalo so much. I like their fans so much. I like the team so much. They're easy to root for. It's easy for me being a miserable Brown fan. I know who I'm rooting for every single year. I'm rooting for Buffalo. Root for the Bill fans. They have the best quarterback in sports. Golly, can you imagine if the Bills don't win a Super Bowl with arguably one of the best quarterbacks of our generation? Like, and that's why I agree with Mike Tannenbaum. It's like, listen, we love Mahomes, all right? Mahomes is a multiple Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's doing things we've only seen Brady really do, consistently winning, going to Super Bowls, representing the AFC, but it's not even close. He is not the best player in football. I could argue he wasn't even the best player in football the last 2 years when they went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. Allen is the best player in football right now, and he proved that with the Jags. And the win against the Jags. 888-760-3776. That is the Baptist Health Hotline. Here on Theoretically Speaking, Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo. Christian Catt back in action behind the glass. Now, I wanted to ask too, Christian, the broadcast. I told you it was boat day, which means you got to wake up ungodly early.
How much
on
can
a
you
day
focus?
off.
How much do you focus when you get the game on the boat? I feel like I would be very attention deficit to the actual screen in the game at hand.
Well, you know me. I watched the United game before the Jag game.
Okay.
I was the guy watching sports. So
on the boat?
On the boat. So Uncle Mark had a TV.
Bad loss by them, by the way.
More of a horrible. We'll get into it. We won't get into it because nobody can actually, Christian.
We'll get into it off the air.
We won't get into it because nobody cares. Uncle Mark, for the sake of the argument, he has a yacht, all right? And you drive it all the way at the top on the third deck.
Right.
And that's where I was hanging out. I was with my dad and Uncle Mark and Captain Ben upstairs while all the other kids were, drinking in the sun and on the tip of the boat, doing their thing, flipping off the side. No, Riz was watching the Jags and the Bills, thinking of my buddy Colin Russo about his team winning a home playoff game. I was really rooting, and I know I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl. I got the cash on Bills and Rams and whatever, but I it's $10. It's a $10 bet with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet. I was rooting for Colin's Jag. I was rooting for him to see a playoff win. I've never seen my team win a playoff game, and I was hoping to do something, or rather, I was hoping Colin would be able to do something that I've never seen out of my team.
Yeah.
I really was.
It is a frustrating loss if you were rooting for the Jags or if you bet on the Jags, because you can only really point at 3 plays. You can look at offensively for the Jaguars when they led the Bills 7-3. This is going all the way back to the second quarter. They led them 7-3. Entering the second quarter, 4th and 2 on the Buffalo 9, and Lawrence looked like he got the first down. And then they do the replay review, and they see that like his shin skidded off the turf where the ball was just barely short. So a turnover on downs, and of course the Bills go down to score after that possession too. That stunk. That hurt a lot. And then the big deep ball that was thrown on that game-winning drive by the Buffalo Bills to get all the way down to the Jacksonville 20-yard line. That was a massive play. And then Cam Little missing the given to him. I don't think it was the correct call when they had the extra chance at the field goal at the end of the first half. Those are the 3 most pivotal plays in that game, and they all went against Jacksonville.
By the way, I tried texting our group chat because I knew you guys were at the game and probably didn't know, like, if it was the right call or not. I texted at 1:50.
This is at the end of the first half.
Correct.
Where they gave
the
1
knee,
second to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, no, the knee being down.
The fourth down conversion.
7-3.
Okay.
7-3. All right. And right after the fumble on the kick return, at 1:50, I text, boys, right call, close as it gets. It never delivered. I wanted to show you that a break. It never delivered. And I tried sending a couple other texts. I just didn't have the damn service being out there.
But you know, it's about time the Bills got a couple of breaks.
Oh, God.
Right, just in general.
Ain't that the truth?
In this, like, iteration of the Bills and the Bills as a franchise in general, they're due a couple of breaks, and it just so happened at the expense of Jacksonville. You know, that's just at the end of the day.
The biggest one for me, not necessarily like a call or anything like that, with 17 seconds left, not winning that game back in, like, what, 2020, 2021?
Yeah.
I mean, Leslie Frazier, brother, it's Patrick Mahomes. There's 16 seconds left, and your DBs are at the 30. You know they can kick a field goal and go to anyway. 888-760-3776. That is the Baptist Health Hotline. We're continuing talking about all of the crazy wild card matchups that happen on that NFL slate. The Buffalo Bills, 27. The Jags, 24. The Bills going to be going up to Mile High to play the Denver Broncos. I got some sound from the Don of ESPN West Palm, Evan Cohen, that we're going to take a listen to coming up next. Talking about Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh. What the hell happened to the Chargers in New England? All that coming up next, theoretically speaking, on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
At HSS, movement is their specialty. Their team of experts provide personalized treatment options backed by over 160 years of orthopedic expertise. Whether you need advanced non-surgical solutions, surgical care, or comprehensive rehabilitation, HSS Florida delivers the exceptional quality care you expect from HSS, the nation's #1 in orthopedics. With 3 locations in West Palm Beach, Wellington, and now Jupiter, expert care has never been closer to home. Choose better, move better. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and I'm dropping the gloves. Your new home for the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers is ESPN 106.3. Tonight, the Panthers look to make noise in Buffalo against the Sabres. Coverage starts at 7 right here on ESPN 106.3.
You've seen the PGA Tour's best on the course, but in the arena, it's prime time. Season 2 of TGL presented by SoFi is back. With big moments, big personalities, non-stop action on the big screen. Shot clocks, hammer drops, timeouts, and overtime. Tickets are on sale now, but availability is limited. Visit TGLGolf.com to get your tickets while they last. TGL presented by SoFi. Keep up. It's golf.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful Defender 110 P300S for just $849 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party. How'd you get your money so quick?
Hard Rock Bet's got lightning fast withdrawals.
Almost as fast as Dale Jr. valeting cars at this party.
Man, he's fast.
Hard Rock Bet's fast withdrawals have given me new motivation. Tips are appreciated.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets. Not a cash offer. Offered by Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Hey, Culligan Man.
Good people. It's Theo Dorsey. Let's kick off the new year with a home upgrade that's a win for you and the environment. A Culligan high-efficiency water softener helps you use less soap, less detergent, and fewer chemicals. Talk about a game-winning play. Try Culligan today for 12 months interest-free. Visit Culligan.com for more information and to schedule your free water test. Or just say,
Hey, Culligan Man!
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey. Christian Catt behind the glass, co-hosting and producing as always. We're theoretically speaking today on ESPN 106.3. You could watch us live on YouTube at ESPN South Florida. You could watch us on X at ESPN West Palm and also on Facebook. But college football fans here in West Palm Beach, I want you to get ready because the ESPN Radio College Football Campus Tour is rolling into City Place, West Palm Beach. Got the big game coming up in Miami. Well, the College Football Campus Tour is going to be here, City Place, West Palm Beach. You know, our studios are in City Place. Come on down to City Place and see the College Football Tour this Saturday night, January 17th from 4 to 8 for live ESPN radio shows. You can even try your shot at a couple of their Serve Pro Rapid Response Reflex game. You could also play the Robin Hood football toss and enter for some awesome giveaways. You might even be asked to get a free Monster energy drink. So Monster is going to be on site. Get yourself a free energy drink at the College Football Campus Tour. Bring your friends, rep your school, and be a part of the action as ESPN Radio takes over City Place. Join us for the nonstop college football fun. That is the ESPN Radio College Football Campus Tour this Saturday, January 17th from 4 to 8 in beautiful City Place, West Palm Beach. You're not going to want to miss it. Well, I certainly thought, folks, the Patriot and Charger game was a game I wasn't going to want to miss with all of the great games that happened before it. And for those of you that lived under a rock this weekend and didn't watch any football, the Rams beat the Panthers 34-21. The Niners beat the Eagles 23-19. The Bears, in one of the more improbable comebacks, beat the Packers 31-27. Christian Catt and Colin Russo, our very own, were on site to see the Bills beat the Jags 27-24. And then the Patriot and Charger game happened. 16-3, 19 total points scored in the game. The Chargers scoring a measly 3 points. The Don of ESPN West Palm Beach, Evan Cohen, which you could hear on Unsportsmanlike with himself, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Evan talked about how he was very wrong about Justin Herbert and one khaki pants cheater, pumpkin eater, Jim Harbaugh. Let's take a listen to the Don, Evan Cohen.
I am so down on Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert right now, I can't even begin to tell you. Jim Harbaugh, who I have anointed as the best reputation and the best resume of the non-title coaches in the NFL. I've said about Justin Herbert, he's the guy, he's, out of the prototype, he's 0-3 in the playoffs. Justin Herbert was bad last night. I understand the protection wasn't great. Protection wasn't great for New England either, and Drake May found a way. And the coaching, Josh McDaniels dialed things up. Mike Vrabel dialed things up. What did Harbaugh do last night? Did he do anything? I was so unimpressed with those two guys, and I have to take a step back. That's not a top 10 quarterback in the league. That's not a top 5 to 10 coach in the league right now. I have egg on my face big time. Not that I thought the Chargers would win, but my anointment of those two guys was, as a tandem in the NFL, was very premature. I was so unimpressed with them last night.
I completely agree with everything Evan said, and let's even take out my personal might not even be sports hatred, Christian, but you get the point. The hatred I have towards Jim Harbaugh, all right? He's a great coach. Harbaugh's a great coach. He wins at every level. He's been to a Super Bowl. He turned Colin Kaepernick and the Niners into one of the more fun teams I've seen in my lifetime. I'm being completely honest, all right? Harbaugh's great. Wish he coached the damn Browns. But last night was a disgrace. That was a disgrace on a lot of levels. Vrabels ran circles around him. Josh McDaniels, offensive coordinator, ran circles around him. And I know that the pressure was there for Herbert. All right. Colin's got a stat for us on Russo and Rizzo about how many times he got pressured. Make sure you stick around to 4 o'clock. But listen, I don't want to hear all that. I don't care. That's the matter. I don't care. Come up with a better game plan. Come up with something to make Justin Herbert look like the quarterback that we see in the regular season. Christian, yet again, here we are after a playoff game going, yep, This is what Justin Herbert does with the Chargers when this team makes the playoffs.
Yeah, he was just void of all confidence in the second half, which he had reason to be, with the Patriots dominating on the field, maybe not on the scoreboard quite yet, but it felt inevitable, but eventually the avalanche would come. It's only 6-2-3 at half, and there was only one touchdown scored in the game. But he was pressured all the time, and I think that he would also evacuate the pocket and just try to use his legs out of lack of confidence with his arm and that pass game. Whether, like, we don't have the all-22 in front of us right now, so I can't tell you if everyone was open or everybody wasn't open, so he'd be throwing a surefire interception every time if he did throw the ball. But that pass game was atrocious, just really, really bad.
And similar to Jalen Hurts, both guys threw over 30 attempts and didn't throw for 200 yards. I mean, to throw the ball over 30 times and not even scrape 170 for Justin Herbert is pretty pathetic. He got sacked 6 times, while Drake May got sacked 5, and May threw for 268 yards in the game. You know, he found a way. It's what Evan, if you listen back to what Evan said in the sound we played, May got pressured too, but he was able to figure something out. It looked like, once again, this was Justin Herbert's first playoff game, and Drake May was the season pro in playoff game number 3. No. It was Drake May's first playoff game, Herbert's third playoff game. So I thought the roles were a little flipped. I really gave the Chargers a fighting chance. I did. I guess I didn't necessarily realize how awful, and I mean awful, that offensive line was going to be in the game plan that Vrabel had. And I asked Mike Tannenbaum earlier in the show of how impressed were you with Vrabel? You know, it's Vrabel's first year as a coach in New England, and he picks up, in his first playoff game, he picks up a victory. And the reason I asked that, Christian, Vrabel picked up a lot of heat for the, I guess, lack of playoff success in Tennessee. I believe Tennessee was even the number 1 seed during Mike's time in Tennessee, and they were really unable to go on a run or anything. Who knew a little home cooking is all Mike Vrabel needed over there in New England to kind of, get all of his best attributes out there as a head coach?
Yeah, certainly. That team looked good. They had to prove something, I think, for the general football viewing audience. Everyone knows how weak the strength of schedule was for the Patriots and how they kind of lost to most of the teams they played that were good, and they've got one good win against the Bills, at least it feels like. And now you're only playing good games.
Yep.
Now you're only playing the teams that truly deserved to be there. And I thought we were going to have a great game last night. I thought that the Chargers would win last night, and I was proven wrong. You could see that was coming from a mile away, even when the score didn't indicate as such.
It's like, if you're playing the blame game, are you going to blame the coach who has won multiple playoff games, went to a Super Bowl, was successful in college, is a quarterback whisperer for a college quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, he turned Colin Kaepernick into an all-pro basically overnight? Or are you going to blame the guy that is now 0-3 in the playoffs, threw 4 interceptions in the playoff game last year with the same said NFL head coach? And I want to say it's a tough time being a Charger fan. The issue is I don't know if there are any Charger fans. And it goes the same for the Rams. Like, how about L.A. having these great football teams that we're not even sure if anyone supports them? But if you are one of the 3 Charger fans on the planet, I'm thinking about you today, because that's a tough pill to swallow. To have an MVP candidate, to have what I think, like a top 5 regular season quarterback in Justin Herbert, but continue year in and year out to not see playoff success. The 3 years I believe Herbert's been in the league, 5-6 years? Apologies, shooting from the hip. But the 3 years that Herbert has made the playoffs, it has just been an absolute disaster. You got to feel for a Charger fan today. Now, the Patriots, on the other hand, we're going to get into that Monday Night Football game here coming up next segment. But dare I say the Patriots are going to the AFC Championship game. They're going to have home field against either the Texans or the Steelers. I mean, it would be an absolute dream season for that organization to get a new head coach in Mike Vrabel and go all the way to an AFC Championship game. Obviously, Vrabel, not a first-year head coach because of all the time and the successful years he had at Tennessee. But for his second stop as an NFL head coach, Vrabel is certainly passing the test with flying colors. And you like what you saw from May. You like what you saw from a rookie in the sense of it was his first playoff game. Obviously, it's year number 2 for Drake May. But a rookie, when it comes to the playoffs in Drake May, getting pressured and sacked all those times, 5 times last night, but still being able to pick himself up by the boots, even throwing an interception. I think that's getting kind of floated under the radar. May did turn the ball over last night, but he did enough in that second half. Christian told you it was 6-3 at halftime. Did enough in that second half to get the victory. I was uber impressed with the young quarterback in Drake May, but no points. They didn't score a single point in that second half. With the Chargers only putting up 3 in the game. I mean, they had that field goal in the second quarter, and to get shut out. I mean, you were basically shut out in the first half with the 3, but Christian did not score any points in that second half. That's an indictment on the whole operation, not just the head coach and the quarterback. That's an indictment on the offensive line, the skilled players, general manager, everybody involved in that organization.
Yeah, I feel like we rush to criticize rather than to credit because unless there's a tie, a team's got to win, a team's got to lose.
Yep.
So did the team win the game? Did the team lose the game? Which are you really going to focus on? But it's hard to look at the stat sheet and to remember what we saw last night and not want to just kill the Chargers. And brought it up earlier on in the show, Mike Tannenbaum did, about Quentin Johnson. 3 catches for 20 yards, a couple of big drops in there as well. He was a no-show. He showed some flashes this season, but has really been awful. In a day and age where we've seen rookie or young wide receivers show up into this league and show out and immediately establish themselves as a premier playmaker, he has been anything but. And we saw once again last night more of the same from that receiver. McConkey, 3 catches, 32 yards. Keenan Allen, he's still taking snaps in the NFL for the Chargers, and he had a big drop in the game as well, 3 catches for 25 yards. Is it Justin Herbert not being able to establish a good chemistry with these guys, or do these guys stink? I think that it could be either. I am blaming more so the players than I am the head coach.
What's more surprising in your eyes, Christian? The season that Herbert and Harbaugh had with it coming to a close at the end of the first round, or the season Vrabel is and May are having in Vrabel's first year in New England as a head coach and May's first full year starting being in MVP considerations and winning a playoff game?
Well, are you saying surprising in a negative or positive for the Chargers?
Just what are you more shocked, surprised? Like what's the one that you go, I didn't see that come like that?
Well, this is kind of the Chargers' MO, isn't it? Like win double-digit games, show flashes. The unlikely version of this was them getting in the playoffs and the Chiefs not.
The reason I ask is because I did not expect the Patriots to be here. I didn't even expect the Patriots to win 8 games this year. I looked at their over-under, which was like 9, and I'm like, Colin, how the hell is their over-under 9? May is an unproven quarterback. Vrabel, I love him to death being an Ohio guy, but like every great team he had in Tennessee never accomplished anything. It's year 1. Why the hell is there over under 9? And then I certainly, I did not expect the Chargers to play that bad too. Like 3 points after Herbert threw 4 interceptions in last year's playoffs. Harbaugh, the quarterback whisperer, supposed to get this guy back on the right track. And here we are again. They're scoring 3 points. I guess that's where my head was at with the question. I did not expect the Patriots to be here at this juncture in time.
Yeah, they've been special. They've got a favorable schedule, and they've cashed in on that. You need to credit them for winning the games they should, except for one at the very beginning of the season against the Raiders, which is very funny to see how both of those teams' season went after that game, where Las Vegas beats New England, and now you look at where both those teams stand right now. It is surprising the Patriots are as much of a semi-juggernaut. Like, they won a playoff game at home in convincing fashion, which is not something anyone else in the NFL has been able to say this year so far.
And listen, I know Mr. Kraft has maybe had some off-the-field problems and whatever. With that said, good ownership, historic franchise with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Forgive me for thinking that they wouldn't be able to turn things around after a slow rebuild post Tom Brady and Belichick. And a lot of people were really nailing the Patriots for getting rid of Gerard Mayo, but they had a plan, and the plan has worked. Bringing in Vrabel, and Vrabel's first year, they're already on their way to a divisional round playoff game after winning a home playoff game in the wild card round. Like, I'm not shocked in the sense that, of course, the Patriots are back. Of course they're back.
The more and more examples we get, it's kind of like, okay, if the Patriots can figure out the quarterback, the Patriots will win.
Yep.
Guaranteed win. And, of course, the Tom Brady truthers had their day when Brady leaves New England, wins a Super Bowl immediately in Tampa Bay. So then it's like, wait a second, this guy's responsible for it all, especially when you compare it with how the Patriots looked like post-Brady when it was Cam Newton and then a failure of a Mac Jones experiment. But now we're seeing, if you give that organization a quarterback, I'm not saying Drake May's the best quarterback in the NFL right now, but he certainly is a good to great quarterback. They're a buzzsaw. It's pretty crazy.
And Christian, you talked about the skill players not showing up for the Chargers. I mean, who the hell is the skill player for the Patriots? A bunch of island of misfit toys? I mean, seriously, a bunch of other people's trash.
We were talking about who's that? Like a couple of guys that caught passes for the New England Patriots that I have never heard of in my life. Who the hell's Efton Chisholm? Efton Chisholm. Listen, maybe I'm not doing my job, and for that, you can criticize me. Efton Chisholm? That is a fake name in NCAA 26.
Let's put a bow on this by saying it's Tom Brady-esque. Tom Brady-esque. What Drake May is doing with the talent and the receivers and everything that's around him, it's Tom Brady-esque. And Mike Vrabel, for all intents and purposes, a defensive guy playing linebacker at The Ohio State University and the New England Patriots winning Super Bowls. It's a little Brady-esque. It's a little Brady and Belichick-esque. I'm maybe getting ahead of myself. Maybe win a couple of Super Bowls before we get to that point.
Yeah.
It's eerily similar. That's all I'm saying. It's similar, Christian.
Who the hell was Chris Hogan until he was a marquee target for Tom Brady in the playoffs?
Who the hell was Wes Welker? What, a punt return man for the Dolphins before New England? 888-760-3776, that number. It is the Baptist Health Hotline if you want to talk about any of the crazy wild card games that happened this weekend. Christian and I are going to be previewing Monday Night Football coming up next, theoretically speaking, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit SignoramawPB.com.
As teams battle for a chance at the title, make sure your home is ready for every unforgettable moment. EDS Air Conditioning keeps your comfort championship caliber. Right now, qualified customers can score 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC unit. The heat belongs on the field, not inside your home. With more than 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS has been delivering national championship service since 2006. Visit EDSIsYes.com today and enjoy the run to a national title.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Today's tax tip is brought to you by Anshin Accountants and Advisors with Joseph Malloy, tax partner in Anshin's Construction Group.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act, also known as the OBBBA, will have a significant impact on tax planning strategies. The bill restores and makes permanent 100% bonus depreciation for all eligible purchases made after January 19, 2025. This tax incentive will influence investments in additional machinery and equipment upgrades, providing an immediate tax deduction and helping contractors increase cash flow. At Anshin, a partner-owned firm since 1923, we strategically guide construction companies through the new tax law to help them develop the right strategy and enhance profitability. If you're a construction executive or owner looking to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't.
For more tax tips from Anshin, visit Anshin.com. That's ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, helping you recalculate what's possible.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Well, we saw a bunch of NFL pros out there on the field for Wild Card Weekend. What I want you to do, folks, is say, welcome to be treating like a pro. You're at Baptist Health. Welcome to pro-level orthopedic care at Baptist Health. From sports injuries to everyday aches, our expert team, expert doctors deliver the same advanced care trusted by the pros. So if you need the advanced care, I want you to go to the place that is being trusted by the pros. Baptist Health, that is Baptist Health, baptisthealth.net/ortho, baptisthealth.net/ortho. Get back to the life and the activities you love. Welcome to being treated like a pro. 888-760-3776. That number to call on into the show. That is the Baptist Health Hotline. Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey. Streaming live, ESPN South Florida on YouTube, ESPN West Palm on X and Facebook. Christian, we got a big Monday night game. I'm hoping the game between the Steelers and the Texans in Pittsburgh is going to be like the first couple games that we saw before that godforsaken Charger and Patriot game last night. I alluded to Mike Tannenbaum early in the show. I love the Steelers tonight. I'm all over it. I'm all over it with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet. I think this game screams Aaron Rodgers. I guess I got excited. And listen, as a Brown guy, I could hardly get excited and root for the Steelers. But seeing Aaron Rodgers do what he did in that second half was reminiscent to his time when he was a 4-time MVP for Green Bay. And obviously I'm talking about the Steelers' last game where they're able to, not to rub it in, Christian, beat Christian Katz's Ravens and Rodgers looking like vintage Rodgers. But I do like the Steelers tonight. I said earlier in the show, too, that the Bears might have the worst defense left out of any of the playoff teams. Well, I think the best defense might be playing tonight for the Texans. Hurts me to say that I just am banking on the downfall of C.J. Stroud. I'm going to go with the Steelers tonight on Monday Night Football, Christian.
Yeah, worst defense you gave, best defense you gave. What about the worst offense remaining? I think that might be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Now,
especially with DK Metcalf out, which he is not. He'll be returning to the Steelers in this game tonight. But I'm seeing 5 straight playoff losses for the Pittsburgh Steelers, not winning a playoff game since the 2016 season. It's a rock and a hard place. It is the immovable object and the unstoppable force. The Steelers on Monday Night Football under Mike Tomlin versus the Steelers in a playoff game in the past decade.
Right.
So I am torn to shreds in this. If this game was in Houston, I would take the Texans minus 13.5 if you would give it to me.
Wow.
But it's not. It's in Pittsburgh. Voodoo, magic, craziness always seems to happen. Happened last week. Ruined my favorite football team's season with a missed Tyler Loop field goal. Hard place to kick there. I am going to take 2 more hours to think about what I think is going to happen in this game. That's what I'm going to do, Mike.
Tomlin doesn't lose. To Christian's point, Tomlin doesn't lose on Monday night, but he hasn't won a playoff game in more than a decade. Something's coming to an end. All right, some godforsaken trend for the Steelers is coming to an end tonight. Christian, is there any way? I didn't think that the Ravens were going to get rid of Harbaugh. If the Steelers lose this game, and I say bad. Let's say like 20-10, 20-3. Is Tomlin? Are there going to be conversations about maybe Mike T not coming back next year?
With the level of vacancies, I think there are certainly going to be discussions about it because, sure, last Sunday night, you're going to bed as a Steelers fan thinking, ooh, we did it, you're feeling good. But no, you didn't win a playoff game yet, and you have the best quarterback you've had in that spot since prime Ben Roethlisberger, which was a lot earlier than 2016. Yeah. So I do think that we're going to have conversations about Mike Tomlin's job. Not that he'd get fired, but that they would mutually part ways if the Steelers don't win tonight.
Listen, the Steelers aren't firing anybody. That organization doesn't fire anyone. It's going to take Tomlin walking away.
Yeah, but they're going to have a bad draft pick. I don't think he's going to walk away.
He's not going to walk away.
But if they've got to have a bad draft pick, how much longer does Aaron Rodgers have to play that position? I don't know. I don't know if Mike Tomlin sees an attractive opening, maybe across the rivalry to the Ravens. Heck.
Wow.
If they'd hire him, I think he would take that job over the Steelers job.
Does he want to take the other rival's job? Does he?
Oh, the Browns?
Oh, no. They're not even a rival anymore. Christian, take that 2 hours to think about who you like on Monday Night Football, partner. Get back to me, all right? This has been Theoretically Speaking, folks. Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey. Appreciate Christian, all his great work, as always, here. Colin Russo. Let's get Colin in here. Coming up next on ESPN 1063.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough